All right, this video covers how to set up a HiTide campaign in the HiTide UI, as well as how to read reporting. This video assumes that you already have a general understanding of how the HiTide platform provides value and can help grow your list, and is more about executing campaigns. It's also not very heavy on anything related to content strategy. For that topic, there's a separate video. We'll also only dwell for a very short time on how the integration between HiTide and your SMS and email platform works. For that, you'll want to check out our lifecycle and retention team focused video on how the HiTide integration works with your SMS and email platform. Okay, so imagine you have your HiTide campaign planned, you have your content ready, and you want to go and set up a new campaign in HiTide. We're going to start there, and then I'll show you how to read HiTide reporting after your campaign is live. To set up a campaign, go into the Create Campaign button and select from one of the pre-built templates. Each of these templates has different configurations that are optimized for your campaign type. If you want to build a brand new campaign, or if you're not sure which template to use, or if you just like to pull all the bells and whistles and levers yourself, you can use either the AI-based campaign generator on the right-hand side, or you can go down into the advanced template section and create what's called a conversational campaign, which is just a generic list growth campaign. Once you tap into your selected campaign, you'll see a bunch of fields, and I'm going to walk you through what each of these fields does and how you can use it. First, you want to name your campaign. This campaign name is not exposed to end users, so you can name the campaign whatever you want, can be totally internally facing. It does get mapped into the subscriber profile within your SMS or email platform, and so you want it to be something that you can reference and identify later. So let's go ahead and name this one. Let's name it CTA and Bio BOGO for buy one, get one. And that sort of describes the offer we're going to send to the end user. Next, you're going to want to define what you want to collect. There's three options. Most brands use phone numbers with email fallback, meaning we're collecting SMS opt-ins, but if we already have that person as an SMS subscriber, we're going to ask for their email instead. Alternatively, you can ask for phone numbers only, or you could ask for emails only. If you don't want to collect any opt-in at all, instead you just want to send a basic link, you can use a template called Basic, and it will just send a one-time message, which can be helpful for sending out links or otherwise sending a thank you message or something else to your followers. Because this one's actually an SMS and email list growth campaign, there's a number of other settings, and I'm going to walk you through those now. In the trigger section, you're going to define what action the user is taking that results in a direct message to them. So in many cases, this is going to be a keyword. And here you can define whether we're looking for that keyword in direct messages only, including story replies, or in comments, or in a combination of both. Because this is a call to action and bio campaign, we're going to leave off the comments trigger. We only want to trigger on direct messages, and we want to define a keyword. Let's change this keyword to something a little more on brand. Let's use this cowboy emoji, and you can always define multiple emojis. You can use different words or a combination of words. And in addition, the simple presence of that keyword in a comment or a direct message will trigger the campaign. So for example, if you wanted to set this campaign to trigger on the fire emoji, any comment or direct message that included that fire emoji would then trigger the campaign. Something to keep in mind as you're choosing your keyword. You don't need to choose a keyword, however. There's other ways to trigger HiTide campaigns, including triggering on all organic comments on a specific post, all story replies. For example, if you wanted to send a thank you or call to action to anyone that mentions you in their story, we can trigger a direct message based on that. Or other simple actions like when someone tags a friend on a post, commonly used for giveaways, for example. Or we can trigger this one on click-to-message ads. Because this is a call to action and bio campaign, we're going to keep this one simple, and we only want to look for that cowboy emoji on direct messages. Next up are a bunch of restrictions you can set. The most common and default on is to only send once per user to make sure that you don't create a spammy experience. You can also limit these direct message triggers to specific content, like a specific post or a specific reel. And if you turn this on for a campaign, you'll get a content picker where you can then select that reel or reels or post or combination of posts that you want to trigger this campaign on. For most campaigns, because you're using a specific keyword or emoji, you don't need to specify the content. You kind of want to just turn it on and let it run. For example, in that cowboy emoji, unless you're a very specific type of brand, you're probably not going to get cowboy emojis on many comments or direct messages. So we can just rely on that keyword trigger. But if you wanted to narrow it down a little bit more, for example, if you wanted to run a giveaway where you're sending a direct message based on each time someone tags a friend in the post, and you know that people are tagging their friends on many of your posts, we would want to limit that tag a friend trigger to only the post that is relevant to this campaign. For all trigger types, you can set up the trigger before the actual content is posted, with the exception of if you're limiting to specific content, because we need to pick from, already posted content. You would simply post that campaign and then come back into HiTide and quickly select the content to enable the trigger. For all other trigger types, you can select your rule set here, set the campaign live in HiTide, sometimes weeks in advance. You can even schedule it to go live at a certain time and know that your HiTide campaign is ready to go. In addition, if you have multiple accounts connected to HiTide, you can limit which accounts this is triggering for. For example, if you wanted to send one offer on Instagram and a different offer on Facebook under the same campaign, that's totally possible. Next is the fun part, which is making sure that this campaign is on brand and has a great call to action. So in the auto reply message field, this is the initial DM that the user will get after they submit the keyword or take whatever action triggers the direct message. We include a template, kind of boilerplate copy here. It's your job to edit it, make sure it matches your brand, make sure it's as good as possible. And you can also set a different message to send to people that are existing phone subscribers. If, for example, you wanted to collect email instead, this one is a collect SMS opt-ins with email fallback. And so we have an identical call to action here that just references email. And in fact, if you edit the first message, the second fallback message will edit as well to make it as easy as possible. For your confirmation message, this is a message that will go out to users after they've completed the opt-in. So once we send that new subscriber into your SMS or email platform, we're going to get notified by that platform that the user is now a subscriber, and we can send them a confirmation message. There's a bunch of things you can do here. The most obvious is to kind of close the loop, tell them they're all set, they've completed their entry, or they've signed up for the drop alert, or they're in for the giveaway. Whatever your campaign value prop is, you should have a confirmation message that matches. If you're generating a coupon code, especially if you're using a dynamic coupon code, you can include that here. And you can also send them along to shop to a specific product or just to your general website link. HiTide will also track revenue associated with link clicks and coupon code use, making sure that you're covered to understand the full value of this campaign. If you want to send a different message to existing subscribers, imagine you have like a new subscriber offer that is 30% off and you want to gate it to only net new SMS subscribers. You can toggle this on to send a different message to existing subscribers. Maybe you want to just politely let them know that the offer doesn't apply and that they should check their texts for previous coupons. Finally, as mentioned, if this campaign is ready to go, you can schedule it. This is going to be set in your local time, and this campaign will not go live until the selected scheduled date. If you turn that scheduling field back off, the moment that you hit launch, your campaign is going to be active and DMs will start flowing out if any user actions match that campaign. For SMS opt-in and email opt-in settings, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to use your standard configuration, your initial list ID or short link or keyword that flows into your general SMS or email list. If you want to make changes to the individual campaign and send them into a different keyword, for example, you can do that here, and you can click this little help button to learn more about the setup. If you want an in-depth view into SMS and email configuration, we have a previous video that covers that topic for lifecycle retention marketers and anyone that's pulling the levers within Klaviyo, Attentive, PostScript, etc. There is an in-depth video that will cover your opt-ins and your opt-in method. For most campaigns, this will already be done and you'll be good to go. If you're done with setting up this campaign, or if you want to come back later and finish it, you can just save it as a draft and it'll show up in your campaign draft list. Or if you want to try it out, you hit this little try it out button. This will allow you to send in a secret key via direct message that will take you through the whole campaign to test it out yourself. For example, if you wanted to try it out from your personal IG or from a different brand IG and see what the whole flow looks like, you can do that with this try out button. If you're working on a campaign and you want to come back later, you can save it as a draft and it'll show up in your drafts list. Also, we'll keep a list on the right of tasks necessary to get this campaign live. You can also preview the flow right here in the preview view field. We'll give you a little mock-up of what it'll look like to a user. And if there's anything particular about content requirements for this type of campaign, for example, in this call to action campaign, we'll give you a pre-made call to action you can add to your bio and edit up, copy. Or you can hop into the HiTide Playbook, which we cover in another video that gives you a full look into campaign types, including all the best practices for captions and content, and gives you a bunch of examples of successful HiTide campaigns from other brands. Okay, with that, you know how to create a campaign. Let's show you quickly how to read reporting once your campaign has gone live. Once your campaign is set live, you're going to see it listed here in the active campaigns view on your homepage. Active campaigns are all campaigns that are currently live and active and are eligible to send direct messages. If you want to turn off a campaign quickly, you can just toggle that campaign off and it will drop down into this section of previous or past campaigns. Each campaign gets its own reporting and will also show you a roll-up of all campaign activity on this headline in the dashboard above. If you want to edit an active campaign, you can click the three dots here. You'll also see a bunch of other tools, including a random winner selector for giveaways, the ability to download subscribers into a CSV, the ability to duplicate that campaign, and the ability to read best practices on that campaign type. But let's say we know all that and we're good. We just want to see a deeper view of campaign reporting. First step would be clicking this little plus button on the campaign name, where we'll see more stats like how many accounts we've reached, the social metrics of that campaign, and a breakdown of how many new versus existing subscribers, as well as how many users have unsubscribed after the campaign. To go deeper, we can just click on that campaign. We'll be taken to the campaign page. In the campaign level page, we'll give you a breakdown of new versus existing subscribers that have been captured by this campaign. We'll show you how many keywords have triggered this campaign, and we'll also show you a directional revenue view of how many purchases have come from users that have gone through this flow. We call this a directional view because it is not meant to be scientific attribution. We know that every brand has their own attribution rules. And so to dive into more specific attribution for view through windows, click windows, et cetera, you're going to want to use your analytics view in Attentive or PostScript or Klaviyo or whatever SMS and email platform you're using, and drill down into HiTide subscribers and campaign subscribers. But if you want a quick kind of general look at the value of the subscribers that have been acquired or that have gone through this HiTide flow, the revenue tile is a great way to understand general value over time. So most brands will start to look at revenue within a week, 2 weeks, a month, really matching that time window with however long your welcome flow usually takes to hit optimization on conversions. Use that same look to measure your HiTide opt-ins. Okay, so you now know how campaign level reporting works. If you want to get a better look at how SMS opt-in, email opt-in, and your general program is going over time, you can click into the analytics tab and we'll give you a breakdown on a daily basis or a weekly basis that you can cut against total opt-ins, which campaign they came from, as well as revenue associated with those campaigns. So now you know how to create a new campaign, set it live or schedule it, and you know how to look at reporting after a campaign's already gone live. Hope this helps you get the most out of HiTide and enjoy.